Today for us to start doing some standing and some fighting to back that
We move into the food for thought, though, man. I think about even more culture. I was reading about something in Japan that they do that helps them with their budgeting and staying consistent with practices that help them stay financially sound. Kakibo is a Japanese method of budgeting or saving money. It's a simple ledger system that is a part of their culture, but it educates their whole, country. Everybody that's a part of their, culture learns this Kakibo method, and it educates them on how to handle finances. Is that something that we should have in our culture?
Well, I think we first of all, yes, I think we need to create more things. Like I don't think that our culture has stopped, and we're a void from like creating things. You know what I'm saying? But I think also if we wanted to dig into our culture, there's something in the Nigerian or Yoruba culture known as susu. It's also practiced among like Ghana or Ghanaian folks, and some African Americans here. So susu is the concept of putting in the pot, right, and being able to take out the pot when it's time. So it's like you give a certain amount each month to a group not off the internet, right?
Yeah.
It's like asking for $1,000 and they're gonna give you back $2,000, or they show you something on Instagram with a whole bunch of dollars.
Yeah, that's a Nigerian susu scam. I'm just kidding.
Nah. There's not a Nigerian.
I was thinking it too.
And
you gotta be very careful. You know what I mean? We've all got that Facebook Messenger, like, you know what I mean? Just $1,200. Me and my wife, we already got five G's. Like, put in your 1,200, and it's a gifting rule.
That's not susu. So, like, susu is when a group, a community, so folks that you know, family members, it might be like brothers of an organization, family that come together and say, okay, I'm putting in a certain amount every month. And then one of those people will receive that amount of the group like each month. So like whenever it's your turn, so my turn might be February or March, right? And I'll get all of the money that the people put in the pot. Now, every month I'm putting in the pot, right? Not even thinking about like, who it's going to. I know it's going to, but I'm putting in the pot. But when it's time for me to get mine, all the money's going to go to me. And it's a way of spreading business as well. Some folks do it with business. So it's like we might not be putting money in the pot, but we're coming to support your business this month, right? So your business is the focus this month, right?
People had running numbers in the, back in the day, and that became the lottery. But that was a form of doing something similar where you would have one person win, but everybody put their money in the pot, but the winning was based on selection of a winning number. Yeah. And that was something that allowed for our communities to kind of benefit. And that actually was taken from us. That actual financial culture was co-opted by the government and turned into the lottery of a country. So
that's crazy, right? Like my great grandmother used to be a numbers runner. You know what I'm saying? And like back in the day, running numbers was just a thing. That was a part of everyday thing. Whether it's like dreams. I dreamed the 752. Like that's a part of Black culture, specifically hood culture.
Numbers too, like you just said.
What numbers? Like I saw this number. This number I had a dream about. Right. I got my homeboy, Mr. Wayne. He played the numbers every single day. If it's your birthday, he playing that number. If it's his mother's birthday, he's playing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they used to be a big part of our culture. And, like, we lost it to the lottery. And it also made, like, millionaires overnight. Like, believe it or not. Like, a lot of our Black wealth was built during the 20s, during that, like, time of the numbers. Because it was folks who were becoming thousandaires overnight. You know what I'm saying? Just by their number hit. You know what I mean? So, like,
the thing that just reminded me of that I think the main difference between now, because yes, the lottery co-opted that, but what I see is a bigger hurdle for us as a people in order to, because when you talk about the philosophy, that they're using in Japan, what it sounds like is two things: financial literacy, which jumped out at to me, and how it's ingrained into the culture and how it's passed down from generation to generation, and then also group economics. So desegregation has a lot to do with, because even in cities like, I feel like the numbers game was like something that was more unique to like urban metropolis, like larger cities where you have large populations of folks.
Right.
Like I don't really know that, my parents are both from the South, Jim Crow, grew up in the Jim Crow South. I don't know that they were exposed to people that was running numbers because everybody's spread out on farms, right?
Right.
But even in those areas, like people shoot dice, or people, they had, whatever, but it was
gambling houses.
Gambling houses or poker, whatever, but the group economics aspect of is what we've lost, and we've all heard that phrase, the white man's ice is colder. You could talk about how that relates to Black businesses doing business with each other or functioning in a community collaboratively. You could talk about how some of us, as soon as we became thousandaires, we wanted to move out the hood and go as soon as we got the opportunity to go be around the white folks just to look like we made it.
You can look at the HBCU numbers. You can look at our numbers dwindling at HBCUs and HBCUs closing.
Yeah.
Our best and brightest used to go to our HBCUs, and now they're going off to like Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and good for them. But at the same time, it's like our HBCUs are falling apart because of that.
That's even true in sports.
Think about this.
If you look at like the older generation of pro athletes, black professional athletes, a lot of the greatest Black professional athletes when we were kids, we were growing up, a lot of them went to HBCUs. Doug Williams was the first Black quarterback to start in a Super Bowl. He went to Grambling. You know what I mean? I can't name anybody that came out of Grambling that's been a top NFL player. And he was a backup. The guy before him got hurt. But still, he was a backup quarterback on an NFL team that was good. Like he earned that spot. And there's countless other examples. I think Jerry Rice and probably a few others went to HBCUs. Steve McNair is probably the last prominent one I can think of. Rest in peace. But, that is something that you don't see it. Like I can't think of any top athlete now in any professional sport that went to a HBCU. And that used to be the rule, not the exception. So
that's true. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I think about
the money is increased in these universities. These top programs have increased, their facilities and their marketing, reach. As a young athlete, like you're gonna go where you have the best opportunity to get exposure. So, you don't see HBCUs playing primetime football games on national TV, unless it's the Bayou Classic. And even that is in the middle of the afternoon. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I think that's the biggest factor, is just like the desegregation and the decentralization. That's the biggest hurdle for us as a community because, financial literacy is one aspect of it, but I think the other aspect of it is group economics and recycling the dollar
that's the thing that you're losing when you lose the culture behind it, because if you lose the value of it, because you can still do that right now. Like we have communities right now that have people in them where the only businesses that you're going to see are businesses that someone else owns to sell you a product that you probably don't need. And, we could go back to methods of having that. That's why I say that, we have the opportunity. I like what Shaka said. He said our culture isn't dead yet because we still have an opportunity to influence what's going to happen tomorrow. And if we want to say that we want to influence a system that allows a young guy to learn how to take care of his finances before he goes to school, before he goes to college, so that he doesn't have to depend on some type of educational system, because I can guarantee you the other students that you're sitting next to that are not Black, they might not be hearing that in school either. But if they're getting it from somewhere. And if we're not giving it to them, then that's the reason why we are the ones that wake up one day and say, oh, we didn't learn this in school. Why did we not learn this in school? And it's like, well, school is an edited, system, and they can only teach you so much. And right now, considering how we're in a system of online virtual learning becoming more prominent, there's going to be way less time for them to turn around and teach life skills and courses about how to take care of finances. So if we don't include something like that in the culture, where you're teaching, 5, 7, 8, 9-year-old kids, like whether it's using an abacus back in the day when people were using an abacus, but like nowadays all the toys people use is like to play around with. It's not to learn,
I see like a lot of the games that they play and stuff like that on the internet, like math games and ELA games. A lot of that stuff is like really a waste of time. It doesn't, although it is helpful, it's great for somebody that's like ADHD, like I can't sit down, but the traditional learning style, there's no comparing that. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that kids get, like I think about my classroom years ago, like 9 years ago, 8 years ago, right? The type of stuff, I was the type of like moral teachings and social type of like learning that they got a chance to witness, going to the gallery, going to the Smithsonian to go see da 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 da. Like I'm so tired of virtual tours. Like I don't want to do another virtual tour of any museum. You understand what I'm saying? Like I've seen it all, and it's like, for the kids, they've seen it all. It's like getting out and smelling the air and seeing. I guess that's the issue, right? But like getting out and seeing things, is missing. Them interacting with each other. That's what I'm happy. Like Among Us, you know what Among Us is? You ever heard of Among Us? It's like a video game that all the kids are playing now.
Oh, I have heard about that game. Yeah.
Is a way for them to socialize. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Roblox is another one that's real popular with the younger kids, and they just went public. They had an IPO earlier this year. Yeah, I mean, the one thing that when you were talking just now, it just like kind of jogged my memory is I think like the biggest hurdle for us is, and this applies to like the education model, but just like culturally is, seeing is just one of our senses, right? So I can go on a virtual tour and see the museum, but if I go to that museum, I'm getting that sense of sight, but I'm also hearing what it sounds like to be in that place. I'm also,
possible touch.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like you're just
because when you're a young child, there's things for you to touch, buttons and all kinds of stuff at those places.
Yeah.
And like sometimes those buttons might turn on a certain like, I don't know,
it's
art
a full experience.
It's a full experience. It's not just I'm watching. And like a lot of our kids are probably gonna need glasses, like, in the next few years because of the strain on their eyes. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a lot of strain on their eyes. Seeing all of these people, images coming out at you, stuff like that. I think about like for kindergarten, like, man, I teach pre-K. I teach 4-year-olds.